Ever pondered on how to efficiently freeze-dry various food items and seeds? Today, we'll unravel this mystery. Welcome to our journey into the art of freeze-drying. Now, you might be thinking, freeze-drying? Isn't that something only astronauts and survivalists use? Well, not quite. It's an incredibly versatile method that can be used on a wide range of food items, and even seeds. Freeze-drying is a preservation process that involves freezing the food, then reducing the surrounding pressure and adding enough heat to allow the frozen water in the material to sublimate directly from the solid phase to the gas phase. Sounds complicated, right? Don't worry, we'll break it down later. This method has some remarkable benefits. First, it allows foods and seeds to keep their original shape, color, and most importantly, nutritional value, better than any other preservation method. That's right, even better than traditional canning or dehydration. Secondly, freeze-drying extends shelf life dramatically. Foods and seeds can be stored for years, even decades without refrigeration. Imagine having strawberries in winter or your favorite chili in the middle of a camping trip, all possible with freeze-drying. Thirdly, it reduces weight significantly, making freeze-dried items easy to transport. This is why astronauts love freeze-dried food. It's lightweight, nutritious, and all it needs is a bit of water to be rehydrated back to its original form. And it's not only about food. Seeds, too, can be freeze-dried. This helps in preserving them for future use, extending their viability and making them easier to store. So, whether you're a gardener looking to save your favorite seeds, or a survival enthusiast preparing for the unknown, freeze-drying could be your secret weapon. With the right approach, freeze-drying can do wonders, conserving your foods and seeds for years to come. As we delve into the process, the techniques and the tips and tricks of freeze-drying, you'll see just how empowering this method can be. So stay tuned, and let's dive deeper into the art of freeze-drying. Now that you know the why, it's time to delve into the how. Freeze-drying, also known as lyophilization, is a process that removes moisture from foods and seeds while maintaining their original structure and nutritional content. This process involves three main steps: freezing, vacuuming, and dehydration. The freezing stage is the first and arguably the most important step. Here, the food or seeds are frozen solid, typically at a temperature below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. This freezing process ensures that the original shape of the item is maintained during the subsequent steps. But more than that, it prepares the water inside the food or seeds for sublimation, a process where water goes directly from a solid state to a gas. The second step, vacuuming, is where the magic really happens. The frozen food or seeds are placed in a vacuum chamber. The pressure drop within this chamber allows the ice within our frozen items to skip the liquid phase and transition directly into a gas. This process is known as sublimation. The final step is dehydration. This is essentially a cleanup stage. Any leftover water molecules that didn't sublimate during the vacuum phase are removed. The temperature is slightly increased, and the pressure remains low to ensure any remaining moisture evaporates. Each of these steps plays a crucial role in the freeze-drying process. The freezing stage preserves the structure, the vacuuming stage removes the majority of the water, and the dehydration stage ensures that no moisture is left behind. This is what allows freeze-dried foods and seeds to have such a long shelf life. So that's the science behind freeze-drying. It's a delicate dance of temperature and pressure, all aimed at preserving the quality and extending the life of food and seeds. It's a process that requires precision and patience but yields incredible results. Though it might sound complicated, with some practice, you'll master freeze-drying in no time. Now let's dive into freeze-drying various types of foods. From fruits and vegetables to meats and dairy, a wide range of food types can be freeze-dried. Each type, however, calls for its own unique considerations. Let's break it down. Starting with fruits and vegetables, these are by far the easiest to freeze-dry. You'll want to ensure they're ripe but not overripe for optimal results. After washing and slicing, they're ready to go into the freeze dryer. Drying time can vary from 20 to 36 hours, depending on the water content of the fruit or vegetable. Once dried, they should be stored in an airtight container in a cool, dark place. Next up, we have meats. This includes everything from chicken and beef to fish. The key here is to cook the meat thoroughly beforehand. Once cooked, slice into thin pieces and place them in the freeze dryer. Drying time is generally longer for meats, often taking between 48 and 72 hours. Store the dried meat in vacuum-sealed bags to prevent moisture and air from getting in. Dairy products can also be freeze-dried, although they require a bit more preparation. For milk, it's best to freeze it in a tray before placing it in the freeze dryer. Cheese should be grated or sliced thinly. Expect a drying time of around 24 hours for dairy products. Store in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. Lastly, we have prepared meals. Yes, you can freeze dry entire meals. Just cook as usual, allow to cool, and then place in the freeze dryer. Drying time can vary greatly, but expect it to be on the longer side. Store the meals in vacuum-sealed bags for best results. Remember, each food type is unique and thus requires a slightly different approach. It's all about understanding the specific needs of each food type and adjusting the freeze-drying process accordingly. So, go ahead and experiment with different foods and find out what works best for you. Seeds are treasures of potential, and freeze-drying can help unlock that potential when you're ready. Now let's delve into the process of preserving seeds through freeze-drying. The freeze-drying process for seeds is quite a fascinating one, and it's a bit like sending them on a space voyage. The seeds are first frozen, and then a high-powered vacuum pulls out all the moisture while they're still in a deep freeze. This process maintains the seeds' viability, keeping them dormant until you're ready to bring them back to life. The process is delicate, yet incredibly effective. What's intriguing is that the seeds don't actually realize they're being freeze-dried. To them, it's just a very long, very cold winter, and when they're rehydrated and planted, they spring back to life, ready to grow, as if nothing happened. But here's the catch. Once the seeds are freeze-dried, they must be packaged properly to avoid moisture absorption. The exposure to moisture can trigger germination or lead to the growth of mold, both of which can render your seeds useless. So, how do we prevent this? The key is to store them in airtight containers. Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers are a popular choice due to their durability and effectiveness in keeping moisture out. Once sealed, these bags should be stored in a cool, dark place. A basement or a cellar would do just fine. Bear in mind, the goal is to keep the seeds in a state of suspended animation. This means they should be kept away from heat, light, and moisture, the three factors that can kickstart germination. It's important to note that not all seeds are suitable for freeze-drying. Some seeds, like those of legumes, are too high in oil content and may not survive the process. So, it's crucial to research what seeds can be freeze-dried before you start. The beauty of freeze-drying seeds is the longevity it provides. With proper freeze-drying and storage, your seeds can remain viable for years, even decades. This means you can preserve the seeds of your favorite plants and have them ready for planting whenever you wish. With proper freeze-drying, your seeds can stay viable and ready for planting even after several years. Freeze-dried foods and seeds are like time capsules, and rehydrating them brings them back to life. Let's unravel the process of rehydration, shall we? Rehydrating freeze-dried foods and seeds is a straightforward process. All it needs is clean, warm water. Pour the water over the freeze-dried item, ensuring it's completely submerged. The water penetrates the cells of the food or seed, replacing the moisture that was lost during the freeze-drying process. Now, here's the crucial part: patience. Depending on the item, rehydration can take anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours. For instance, freeze-dried fruits may only take about 5 minutes, while seeds might require a couple of hours. Remember, the goal is to restore the original texture and flavor of the food or seed, so don't rush the process. By using clean, warm water and allowing enough time, you're ensuring successful rehydration. With the right rehydration techniques, your freeze-dried foods and seeds will be as good as new. Freeze-drying may seem like a science experiment, but it's a practical skill that can save you time and money. We've journeyed through the art and science of freeze-drying, from understanding the process to applying it on various food types and seeds. Along the way, we've highlighted the crucial steps to ensure optimal preservation of your foods and seeds. Remember, each type of food requires a unique approach. From the delicate berries to the hearty meats, each has its own freeze-drying story. And let's not forget about seeds. Properly freeze-dried seeds can be a game-changer for your garden, ensuring you have a reliable and long-lasting source of your favorite plants. We also delved into the process of rehydrating these freeze-dried treasures. With the right technique, you can bring back the natural taste and texture of your freeze-dried foods and seeds. So there you have it, a comprehensive guide to freeze-drying foods and seeds. Your pantry will never be the same again.